Welcome back to Glenwood's Design Lab, everyone. Today is video number 7 of Tinkercad and 3D printing, and I would like to cover holing, etching, which is like carving into an object, and also how 3D printing is great for customizing and prototyping. So, before I get to this short video, which is great, it's about a young boy who needs a prosthetic hand. I want to discuss how great it is to be able to design something and go back and change it and reprint something if a dimension is off or needs adjusted later in the future. It is a great way to prototype a product that you may have invented. So you invented something, you print it, and you see that it might need a small adjustment. You can go ahead, go back in, change what you need to, and reprint it. The cost of printing is really not that much money. These spools do cost around between $30 and $40 a piece, but you do get a lot of prints out of them. So it's a really efficient way to tweak and prototype something. So without further ado, I'd like to make myself small again. And let's watch this short video, and we'll discuss it on the other end. Hopefully it loads here. There we go.
What it was like before having this hand, or like having like any hand, it was pretty hard. I get bullied a lot, and like I really wanted to be part of a team. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to act like I actually had like right hand, and it wouldn't really care if I had that.
Enable is an online global community of volunteers who are using 3D printers and 3D design software to make prosthetics for children and adults who are missing fingers, hands, and wrists, and we're giving them away for free.
One of the reasons 3D printing is so well suited to this problem is no two cases are exactly the same. Some kids are missing all of their fingers, some are missing even the palm and the wrist. One of the reasons we can produce these devices in kind of incredibly low cost, well under $100, is these devices are entirely body-driven, purely mechanical, so there are no motors, there are no sensors, there are no heavy batteries. So it's a very lightweight, very simple device.
These hands don't even pretend to look like normal hands. They're very different. These things look like something Iron Man or a superhero would have, and the kids love them for that reason.
Once I had this hand, my friends would ask, "Hey, dude, how's it going? Like, has like anything changed with it? Is it working better?" And like, it's pretty cool how they're like actually like involved. They're actually like talking to me about it, and like I love this because like I could pick up stuff and I could help.
It's been really great to have Kieran and his family come to Pier 9, to prototype these new ideas, to test drive these new hands, and to be able to see the higher perspective of, what this is all about, to see how that hour of CAD, translated into him being able to hold his coat or zip a zipper better.
What Enable has done is it seems that they've kind of proven that regular people can design amazing things if they're given access to the tools.
I think it's pretty cool that I'm one of the people actually like testing this out for like a bunch of other people. It's going to be really awesome to see it when it's so big. Like every kid that has a problem like me will have a hand.
All right. Really interesting. First of all, I want to bring a few points across here. First of all, the kid is maybe 11 or 12. He is obviously going to grow very quickly. As you guys know, you're outgrowing your shoes, your clothes, and he's going to need another prosthetic hand probably next year or maybe the year after. It's very simple. They go back into the CAD program, adjust the numbers and enlarge things or make the tweaks that they need, and then they can print another one. And as you probably heard, it costs under $100 to produce one of these, whereas a real prosthetic limb would cost thousands, if not tens of thousands, which doesn't make it feasible for someone to get. Everyone that needs them will not be able to get them. So that's a great way, good example of how 3D printing can customize and make adjustments. Really cool. All right, so let's get back to the Tinkercad. So take a moment and open up the practice Tinkercad we were dealing with. We're going to do a couple more things in here. I'd like to show you how to hole something in, and then we'll bring in a new shape and we're going to etch into that. So these are some concepts that you need to know when you go to design something. We've already embossed something, and embossing once again is like this, where it's raised up and you could actually feel it raised up. So that's one way. And to do that real quick, the way we did that was we had to bring in a work plane. And whenever you set something down, you need to drop that work plane down on there in order for when you drag it in for it to sit properly. Okay, so today we are actually not going to really need to use the work plane. You'll see why momentarily. All right, so this is our base. What I'd like to do is just show you how to cut just a regular hole, like you were going to make a keychain. You were going to hang a ring around there and put it on a keychain or something like that. That's really common, but you can make any shape into a hole and then cut it through or etch it in. So I think the first thing we'll do is drag over a cylinder. So we're in basic shapes over here. Get the angle you need. Sometimes you need to move things around, get a top view, use your mouse or touchpad to do that. Get a comfortable view for yourself. Take the cylinder, drag it over, okay? Now, before we put it inside of our shape, we're going to close this up, because like when you bring over a shape or a letter or something like that, a lot of times these pop up. I'm just going to get that out of our way. Okay, let's size this up. So from experience, I've discovered that when you make a ring hole for like a keychain, you usually make, I would do it 5 or 6 millimeters. Nothing too small, because if it's too small, it won't be large enough. And also, when you put it in a shape, it can't be too close to the edge, because that's going to be plastic. It could break if something pulls on it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, I'm just going to go ahead, since my ruler feature is on. Now, if your ruler feature is not on, get it on there. You click ruler or R on your keyboard, and you drop it in to your workspace. So if you are not seeing, let me get myself out of here. If you're not seeing these dimensions when you brought in the hole, like this, you need to add that ruler feature. That's critical. Always have that on. And then whatever shape you have selected, that'll show you the dimensions. Let's make, now the height here, since we're going to hole this in, long as the height is taller than your base, you're cool. It doesn't matter. So let's make this width and length 6. So just click in there, type in 6, and same over here. All right, now I'm going to put this dead center in the middle here. I think you should do the same. So I could, go over here and try to eyeball it, but whatever. You don't need to. We're going to use the alignment tool again to do that. All right. So before we align it, I want to show you underneath. Since we didn't bring in a work plane, we just dropped it on the base work plane, it should go all the way through there. I'm going to tilt it up. So you can see it right here. It's cutting through. So that's cool. That's what we want. We want it to cut all the way through. All right, so we have our base shape. We have the hole, which are not connected. So see? All right. So let's do this. What I want you to do, and I need to turn this over here. You want it, since this will be for a keychain, you want it to be close enough to the edge where the ring can move like this. Okay. See, right here. It needs to be able to move and stuff, but you don't want it too close that the plastic breaks. So the first thing I would do is maybe position it that way. Get in there and make it close enough to the edge, but not too close. And you have to zoom in to see, I think that's good because there's a little bit of plastic there. That's cool. And it's close enough. Now it's not centered. We will center it. So get it close enough to the edge first. Take a minute to do that. And again, pause the video if I'm going too quickly. And if you miss something, rewind it and rewatch it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the home button and I want more of a top view now. Whoops. Ugh. A top view, so I'm just going to tilt it down. All right. Now let's align this dead center. Again, to align, you highlight and select the things you want to deal with. So I don't have to highlight this entire base. As long as I get a little piece of it highlighted, I'll be cool. Click it. Okay, now we want to align this. So I could either click this icon or L for align. That's what I do on my keyboard. And these black dots come up. Okay, so don't click anything yet. Just drag your mouse over the dots. See, if I were to click this one, you can see that right here, and the hole goes down to the middle of the space. I don't want that. I want just this one. You can see that up at the top of my base, it'll move over slightly. I'm going to click it, boom, and now it's dead center. And then, once it's dead center, I am going to group it. When you group a hole, it cuts. I click group, and there it is. Boom. Pretty cool. Again, if it didn't work out right, pause, rewind the video. I'm going to go back in time and show you these couple steps real quick again. All right, first of all, so I got my hole about 6 millimeters. I do want to manually, with my mouse, get it as close as I can, whatever's comfortable to the edge. I'm not going to worry about aligning it just yet. I need to make sure there's enough plastic, that it's not going to break and it's not too far away. All right, that looks good. I should be fine there. Now, I'm going to highlight and align that. I'm going to click L for align. And I don't want this one because it'll come into the middle of the H. I want this. I just want to center it that way. Boom. And then you can group it. Right here. Or Control G. And that cuts a hole in it. All right, cool. So what I want to do now is, I just want to show you something. You don't have to do this, what I'm going to show you. You can if you would like, But I just want to make this clear to you. I'm going to go to text and numbers. Once again, you don't have to do this. I just need to show you something since we're talking about holing. Let's say I wanted B was one of my initials and I wanted it in there. I'm going to bring it in, okay, and I'll stretch it out, make it bigger. I am going to make it taller because I think it's not tall enough. It wouldn't, because I'm going to make this into a hole. In fact, I can do that right now because I'm going to cut the B all the way through there. I'm going to just click this right here. See, it says, oh, I guess I could click H for hole. I could do that too, it's telling me. But now it's that. Now I need to make it taller. It needs to be taller than the base or it won't cut through correctly. So I take this, sometimes you have to tilt. I need this middle white square to raise it up. There we go. And I'm just going to put it in there. I'll put it in the corner here. Okay. Now it's going through because I didn't put a work plane on top. Highlight and group it. Okay. So that's cool. Now I just want to call your attention to this. When you print something, the bottom work plane is like the bed of the printer. And what you might see is, you see how this is all empty space. If I print this B, it'll print and you'll be able to see it. But when I scrape it off the bed, which I have to do, these pieces are going to fall off. They're not connected to anything. So that's a problem. So you always need to be aware of that. If you bring in any letter or figure, if you hold it all the way through, you have to be aware that pieces of it certainly might fall off. And you don't want that because it'll look goofy. Okay? So I wanted to draw your attention to that. If you'd like to practice doing what I just did, it might be a good idea to do that. Okay. So pause and go ahead and work on that.